high turnout here, and people are still coming to the door, which is great. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day. I know it's a Wednesday, so you guys are taking your Wednesday night and spending it here with us. The fact that you're here in this room means that we all have the same goal, and that is to solve homelessness in San Diego. The fact that we differ in opinion or approach means that we are making progress. The fact that we differ in opinion and are communicating with one another, that is called collaboration. This is where we start tonight. This is how we should continue, and we have to respect one another in this room no matter what. This started for me about 6 years ago, where I was personally assaulted for giving food to homeless individuals by other homeless individuals in front of my hotel. There used to be this mutual respect between the homeless person and the businesses. I don't know where that went. It is most likely my fault that my hotel guest was beat up by asking homeless individuals to stop using vulgar language in front of their room. Now, that is not to say that is the majority of homeless individuals. That is a very small population making it look bad on everybody else. I now understand that I need wraparound services in order to create a system where we as a community can implement and benefit from. And we need the help of all these individuals behind me. I want to give a special thank you to our sponsors who donated the room, Audiovisual, Town and Country Convention Center Resort, and AVMS. I also want to give a big thank you to our elected officials and special guests for making this a priority for them. Councilmember Lori Zapp, Councilmember Mark Kersey, Councilmember Chris Pate, Mayor Senior Advisor Housing Solutions Stacey Spector, Chief Deputy City Attorney Laura Eastman, from Congressman Scott Peters' office, Brian Elliott, from Assembly Speaker Emeritus Tony Atkins' office, Jason Weiss, from Supervisor Ron Roberts' office, Stephanie Goya, I hope I said that right, County Health and Human Services, Director David Estrella, San Diego Housing Commission Vice President Melissa Peterman, President and CEO of San Diego Tourism Authority, Joe Terzi, and again, Jessica, who just came in, part of Councilmember Todd Gloria's office. Downtown Partnership, Chris Michelle, Hillcrest BID, Ben Nichols, OB Main Street, Denny Knox, Cynthia Chasen, and Michael McConnell. Thank you all very much. And without further ado, this town hall all started as a grassroots effort in Pacific Beach in the help and leadership of Councilman Lori Zapp. She has been at the forefront of our community, so without further ado, I'd like to bring up our first speaker, Councilmember Lori Zapp.
Which of these should I use without getting lost behind the microphones? And what does ado mean? Just always wondered that. Thank you, Ellen, for hosting this. Everybody who came tonight. This is one of the most important issues, I think, facing all our communities. I know certainly it is in the beach communities that I represent, and I'm hearing that it's a pervasive problem everywhere I go. Point Loma and La Jolla, and just communities that maybe didn't have as many impacts before. Everyone is having the impacts now. So as we're going to talk about, this is a multi-layered problem. You know, local, county, state, federal, multi-jurisdictions, police, the court system, sheriffs. So we really do have to work together if we're to come to any kind of solution or resolution on what's facing us today. And that, you know, they're down on their luck, they want help, they're willing to get the help, and believe me, the city offers a lot of services and spends a lot of money for the homeless. But this is a whole new, what we call aggressive transients. These are the people who are, you know, hanging out, using drugs, demonstrating lawless behavior, and really thumbing their nose at society and creating a lot of the problems. So that's a category, the one that we really need to deal with here, because we're doing a good job, I think, in dealing and spending resources on the needy, the homeless, and you know, we all want to help them out. So I've done a lot of things. I toured the the Midway area that I represent. There's the mental health facility there. I toured that. Right there at Old Town, by the freeway, an old motel, it's an AB 109. That was the legislation that released a lot of these prisoners. It's a transition center toward that, like what's going on there. I did ride-alongs with the Quality of Life team. A couple of them in OB, PB, Midway, wanted to hear firsthand and see firsthand from the officer's point of view what was going on with them. I had community meetings, one with business leaders, just in my district, one with business leaders and one with community leaders, because there were so many that wanted to come and I wanted to hear from everyone. So, and I met with a lot of other Black pastors groups, and just to find out what is going on in various communities here in San Diego. And what I did with all that information, we did I think it was in May, went to Sacramento and did a 2-day trip, because it is clear to everyone, even though the statistics are lagging, that since the implementation of Prop 47, it correlates with the increase in these aggressive transients, with these thefts, with the crazy amount of drug use that we're seeing out on the streets, like right out in the open right now. So, as many of you know, Prop 47 reduced a lot of what were felonies down to misdemeanors. And that included the theft of any firearm under $950. So it used to be a felony, now a misdemeanor. Drugs, heroin, meth, a lot of the people in our streets are addicted to those two in particular. And if they get them with under $950 worth, again, it's a ticket. They can confiscate the drug, but what are they going to do? This is what the police tell me. This is directly from the police officers. What are they going to do? They're drug addicted. Our drug courts, according to Chief Zimmerman and others, our drug courts have dried up. And so there's no way to get them into a drug rehabilitation. They can take the drug, but then they're going to go panhandle or steal to buy more drugs. And the other one was, no more mandated drug and alcohol treatment upon release. So Prop 47, again, the statistics lag, but it's clear. There was no infrastructure, thank you. There was no infrastructure in place. It passed, we were promised hundreds of millions of dollars. We haven't gotten the money has not shown up. We're dealing with all the repercussions out on our streets. And so, I'll tell you, if Prop 57 passes, we don't even know how to deal with what's happening with Prop 47 right now. That will really exacerbate all of the problems that we have out on the streets right now. So again, we're dealing with this at the city in the best way we can, but we need the county, the state, the federal government. We need the judges to not keep putting them back out on the streets, and we need a way to get the people on the streets the treatment that they need and deserve. No longer can, we have a felony that's over somebody's, no longer can we hold a felony over somebody. And let me just read this in real quick. She's giving me the, this is from Chief Zimmerman, and it's really important. One of the worst consequences of Prop 47 has been the near death of drug court, a proven and effective tool for treating drug addiction. She talks about how, what drug court offers and how it's, big and success it has been, and people breaking their cycle of addiction, and it's all but disappearing. So the enabling behavior that brings many people into the criminal justice system in the first place. So graduates have said that it's only when they face serious penalties. That is the catalyst that's needed. So folks, I really think, from what I found out in Sacramento, because Prop 47 was a package that was passed, we cannot just take things out of it. It must be repealed and fixed. And that can only be done through another statewide initiative, perhaps in 2018, and it can only go on the ballot if there's a signature drive or the will of the legislature actually steps up and puts the fixes that we so desperately need in our communities before us in 2018. So thank you.
Mark Kersey is at his son's birthday party. He'll be here shortly after his son's birthday party, but we will go directly to Senior Advisor Stacy Strang.
Hi, I'm Stacy Spector. I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Elvin for all the footwork and the sponsors and all the speakers and our elected officials. It's a lot for everybody to come out this time of night, long day. And our agencies and our providers that do really great work on behalf of individuals that have special, needs and circumstances. And I know a lot of you care deeply, and this is about human needs. This isn't just about a category of people that we're talking about. This is about individuals. So this is a first for the city, this position in and of itself. So I commend the mayor, not only because I work for him, but I commend the mayor for taking this bold step to do this. The reason why you probably read a little bit about, we talked about this not being a czar, he really wanted a point person. He wanted somebody to come in that would be a collaborator, that would be a coordinated person, that he could go to as a one-stop shop, but more importantly, that you could go to as a point person. And many, not many of you, but a lot of you in here I've met with either one-on-one or as a group, and I will continue to do that and make myself available. There's, I think it's in the region, from my vantage point, and understand, I'm extremely experienced. I'm like on day 18, okay? So there's a lack of infrastructure in regards to coordination and how people communicate and what's kind of going on over here and what's going on over here and what the entire region and constituency looks like and what's needed. So I look forward to playing an active role in helping support that process. But I'm into problem solving based on strategic assessment. I'm not an activist. I'm not an advocate. I don't come in with a bias. I'm not going to be the one that says, oh, we have to do it this way, or it's this program, or it's that. I don't come in from that type of vantage point at all. What I do come in with is a desire for this to be done in an organized fashion with a strong business plan and a more holistic approach that's about real people. And not just about, oh, great idea, let's do that today. Oh, there's another great idea tomorrow. Oh, let's go do that one. But how do they work together? How can they partner together? How do they complement the other efforts that are going on? And are we maximizing our resources? Because there are a phenomenal amount of resources actually being poured into helping people, and we want to make sure that, that everybody's taking advantage of that. And at the end of the day, we want to bring all those perspectives together. And how do we, to do that, how do we get to the ultimate goal of reducing the number of unsheltered people that are living and sleeping on the street? So the charge is to develop a coordinated communications process even within the city, so that the city departments, thank you, big time. She just gave me my 2-minute mark. That the different departments within the city are communicating. So we're going to start that within a 2-week period. We're going to be meeting on a bi-weekly basis. Every city department that is involved in homeless efforts will be meeting, and I'll be running that meeting on a regular basis. So we'll be sharing all information in that regard. Identifying any short-term issues that we can bring some solutions to just loosen or unlock some bottlenecks and kind of, tweeze out where there might be some problems in the short term, while we're working on parallel tracks from a long-term holistic approach as well. So nothing's going to stop. If anything, we're going to try to unloosen a few things in the short term. And then coordinating, obviously, what the county's been able to do, along with the regional continuum of care and the council folks and Todd Gloria's leadership, and the neighborhood associations and service providers, it is pretty heroic. It's unfortunate that the numbers have grown, but that's happening on a national scale, that's happening on a statewide scale, et cetera. The Hotel and Motel Association and everybody that's working together, they deserve a tremendous amount of credit. I can't say enough about the Housing Commission and the supervisors and all of that. So I just want to say, where and how the current resources and good ideas fit into the overall approach that will reduce the numbers. It's just, we've got to make sure that they work together. We just really have to make sure they work together. We want to help the organizations do their best work. And we also want to work with all of you and the neighborhoods and towns and councils and cities to feel healthy and safe. And we really get that. And I'll tell you personally, as some of you guys know, I've been sitting in on a lot of these neighborhood meetings for quite a while, not because of this position, just because I just happen to do that. Gotcha. for another reason. And I really get it, and I get it personally from a variety of reasons. I get it just from having sat in on all of those meetings. But here's the deal. My bottom line, if you remember nothing about anything that I've said tonight, no one of us can do it alone. No organization can do it alone. None of us. It's an extreme situation for San Diego as well as the nation and the state. We need a partnership mentality. So I invite you to please help be part of that solution and be in contact with me, communicate with me, and try to just go forward from that perspective of working together, and we'll try and get some really good work done.
Sorry, we're putting you on the spot right now, Craig. That's Chris Michelle, everyone, Downtown Partnership, we're on the spot, sorry. Next up, we have to meet Laura Easton. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Easton. I'm the Chief Deputy City Attorney assigned to the Neighborhood Prosecution and Collaborative Courts Unit. It's a mouthful, so it just goes by NPU for short. Just kind of a brief overview of what I'm going to talk about in my 5 minutes is just want to kind of give you an overview of what exactly the San Diego City Attorney's Office does and what kind of cases that we handle. I also want to talk about Proposition 47 and the resulting challenges. I feel like I might be beating a dead horse. I know Councilmember Zach already got into that, but I am an attorney, so I'm going to talk about the law for a little bit. And then I also want to talk about the San Diego Misdemeanor At-Risk Track Program. It's our SMART program. And it's a collaborative approach that the city attorney is taking the lead on to address some of the challenges of Prop 47. So just to kind of give you an overview of my office, we handle all of the misdemeanors that occur within the city of San Diego. So if there's a felony or something that happens in the outlying part of the county, that's actually handled by the district attorney's office. So my office reviews approximately 20,000 cases each year, and we issue approximately 15,000 of them. Like I said, I'm from the Neighborhood Prosecution Unit, so I have neighborhood prosecutors that are actually embedded and have offices and desks and workstations at 6 of your San Diego police divisions. So my deputies are there, they're reviewing cases submitted by the police department. We work as liaison with SDPD and all the other various law enforcement agencies within the San Diego city limits. And we also do a lot of community outreach and engagement, primarily through community events and community meetings. I see a lot of my partners here. I see my ladies from Alpha Project are here in the front row. I also see my folks from Mid-City. Go ahead and raise your hand. There you are. Just going to a lot of the community meetings and hearing a lot of your concerns, a lot of the concerns that are shared, going to be shared tonight. My deputies are at those community meetings listening to them. The criminal division handles a variety of cases. So the quality of life offenses are primarily one of the cases that we tackle. We also handle code violations. We have a code enforcement unit that is tackling those medical marijuana dispensaries. We also have red light abatement for some of the prostitution cases, and then kind of what you would think of in terms of domestic violence. So drug offenses, DUIs, and domestic violence. So now to Prop 47, just to kind of give you another overview. I know Councilmember Zach went into it. It was approved by the voters in November of 2014. And at the time the legislation was getting pushed through and was up for the vote, it promised savings of $100 to $300 million that was supposed to be fed directly back to the counties. And just to let you know, the governor's May revise allocated $39 million. So take a minute. We were promised $100 to $300 million, and now there's $39 million. It's a huge dramatic difference. And of that, unlike AB 109, for those who are familiar with that, those funds automatically went through to the cities and the counties. They're automatically given. These would have to be through grant funding that we have to apply for, and the funds are going to get released in the spring of this year through an RFP process. So the city's going to have to compete with a bunch of other cities and municipalities for those funds. As Councilmember Zach mentioned, it would reduce a lot of drug and theft crimes from felonies to misdemeanors, and it was immediate and retroactive. And it had the overall effect of reducing the jail population. So drug crimes reclassified, so possession of many hardcore drugs that we would think of, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and hallucinogens, all now misdemeanors. Same with theft, any theft crime over, under $950, also reduced to a misdemeanor. So what that means, a misdemeanor is only punished by a maximum of 1 year in jail. So what was typically charged as a felony and it's subject to multi-year sentences now has a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail. A dramatic difference. So the impact from my office was we immediately saw an increase of drug charges. Those were up about 38%. The theft charges were up about 65%. And the combo charges, where we saw theft and drug crimes charged together, was up 184%. It's just an astronomical amount of crimes. So I see I have 30 seconds left. So I want to talk about the San Diego Misdemeanor At-Risk Track. So it's aimed at our chronic offenders with acute drug addictions and or complex social service needs. So they have to have one or more drug offense post Prop 47, and they have to be arrested at least twice in the last 6 months for quality of life offenses. So this is a collaboration. If we want to talk about collaborative effort, you can see from this list the Sheriff's Department, the San Diego Police Department, the Public Defender's Office, the Superior Court, Behavioral Health Services, who is here tonight and giving a presentation, Family Health Centers, the Mayor's Office, and Stacy Spector have all been great proponents and collaborators of this effort. And so what it is it's going to offer individualized case management, substance abuse treatment, tailored housing placement for these offenders for up to 2 years. The housing is going to be, they're not going to be shelter beds, they're going to be specific apartment style units for these offenders, and it's going to operate on a harm reduction model. And it's going to be offered at every instance of the criminal justice system continuum. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Ellen. I know I've gone over my time.
Well, Councilman Kersey, how was the birthday?
Still going on.
Still going on. So look at this, dedication by Councilman Kersey.
We really try to get our arms around what I think is probably the most vexing issue that we face here in San Diego. And I apologize if I repeat anything that's already been said, but I think the critical thing here tonight is that you've got a lot of different people from a lot of different parts of the city coming together to say, this is a challenge that we're willing to take on. We know it's not going to be easy. If this was easy, it would have been solved already. But as one example, if you look at my district, we probably have, just on a pure census population basis, probably the smallest number of homeless folks in this city. But this is a citywide and in fact a regional issue. And so it doesn't know district boundaries, it doesn't know city boundaries. And this is something that we all need to be working on because it truly is a regional and a San Diego issue. So I'm happy to be here to get ideas, to get feedback on what's working, what's not working. Probably more listening than offering much in the way of my personal experience at this point, because I think there's a lot of folks out there who deal with this on a very regular basis who have some good feedback to share. But I'm just happy to see so many people coming together, recognizing this is something that impacts all of us. It may not be in your neighborhood where you live, but it probably is where you work, or it's in the parks around your kid's school. And it's something that when you think about it from a moral perspective, we don't want to see fellow San Diegans sleeping on the streets, sleeping in our park benches. Sometimes these are obviously military veterans, people with mental health issues who aren't getting the help that they need. And this is something that impacts all of us. So I just want to thank everybody who's put this together, Elvin and his whole crew for getting everybody out here, and all of you for taking time out of your evening and coming here together. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more from what everybody has to say. So thank you very much.
Next up, Director David Sterling.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time and the energy that you're bringing to this issue, and something that we very much need. So I'm the Director of Integrated Services for the County of San Diego, and what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about our office, which is a new office within the county. Then I'd like to describe to you Project One for All. And then finally, I'd like to tell you a little bit about further efforts that all of us can take to help with this particular issue when we're talking about homeless individuals with serious mental illness. So Integrative Services is a brand new office that was created within Health and Human Services Agency. I was formerly the director of the county's Department of Housing and Community Development. And then I was Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for the County of San Diego, one of 5. And what the county has done, we've created the Office of Integrative Services. I moved from my position into the role of director, with the idea being that we're putting together a team of experience within housing, within behavioral health services, and within human services to bring together all of the energy and the necessary expertise that we need to be able to have a collective impact approach and deal with the unique issues that every single individual has that we're talking about. Because it's complex, and I think we all know that, but we need to have the right people together in the room to be able to address that. So there's been a restructure within Health and Human Services Agency, and that led to, under the leadership of Chairman Ron Roberts and Supervisor Greg Cox, the Board of Supervisors approving Project One for All. On July 1, what the county did is approve Project One for All, with the idea being that we're going to braid street outreach with treatment, with housing, with the outcome of people spending less time being off the streets, less time in emergency rooms, less time interacting with the justice system, police, criminal justice facilities, and having a stable housing environment so that they can continue with their lives and live the life that they want to live, and set goals for themselves, no longer be on the street, and integrate themselves into society the way that they feel is appropriate for themselves. Based on the last point in time count, there's only 9,000 homeless individuals within the county of San Diego. Based on the last point in time count, about 14% of those individuals we estimate have serious mental illness. That's how we arrive at the number of 1,250 individuals. Project One for All is a region-wide effort. However, we know that there are centers where within our jurisdictions, or multiple jurisdictions, where we have to focus our activities. But it is a region-wide effort, and the partnership between ourselves, and I'd like to congratulate the Housing Commission for the efforts, and they'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few moments. Between ourselves and the City of San Diego and the San Diego Housing Commission, we've been able to identify over 1,000 housing choice vouchers, more commonly known as the Section 8 program. That is our main housing resource for housing the individuals that are homeless right now, that are in some stage of street outreach or outreach and some stage of treatment. The missing piece many times in the equation for people to reach housing stability is the housing resource itself. Housing choice vouchers are not a one-size-fits-all. However, they're a tremendous step forward from what we have been in the past. So to reiterate, what the county has done is, along with identifying housing resources, which is Section 8 vouchers from our own jurisdiction, and partnering with the San Diego Housing Commission and our other housing authorities within our region, we've also enhanced the contracts that provide the street outreach and the treatment that goes along with those housing resources. And what does that treatment look like? Big picture, high level, full service partnerships providing whatever it takes, case management system and treatment and services that the person needs, whether it be education, connecting them to public benefits, identification, everything that a person needs to move from the reality that is homelessness to stability, and then moving forward into their home and their future. So I see that my time is coming close there. What I'd also like to talk about is, I have these 2 handouts that I'll place at the back at the end of this session. And it's a very high-level description of how Project One for All works and the building blocks of how it's a regional effort and how it connects to the San Diego Housing Commission. And then what I have here is landlord incentives for people that are trying to help our homeless veterans, because I don't want to lose sight that we have multiple subpopulations within our homeless population. Transitional age youth, veterans, women and children, people with serious mental illness. We know that all of these folks need our assistance, that need us to work together, private sector, public sector, all of the partners that come together, along with our regional housing providers and regional continuum of care. And so, if you, every single one of you knows someone that may have a home to lease that could be a part of our Housing Choice Voucher Program, whether it be through the county or whether it be through the Housing Commission, if you could connect with them and share with them the stories that you know as an individual, the stories that your businesses experience, and let them know that with full service partnership and outpatient treatment, thank you, and outpatient treatment, we will partner with them to have people that are receiving the services that they need. These folks want to get better, and they can get better. They will get better with all of us working together. And housing is the missing piece, and those property owners are vital to us. And there's a strong willingness there. We just need to prove to them that we can do it. And this is a 3-year effort. It's year 1. We're just getting started, and we appreciate your time and everything that you're doing today. Thank you.
Next, we have Vice President Melissa Peterman, the San Diego Housing Commission.
The right mic. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm Melissa Peterman. I'm the Vice President of Homeless Housing Innovations at the San Diego Housing Commission. And I want to try as quickly as possible to just talk a little bit about what the Housing Commission is and the efforts that we are taking to address homelessness within the city of San Diego. So we were established in 1979. We are one of 39 public housing authorities within the country that is designated as a moving to work agency, which gives us a lot of flexibility to address issues such as homelessness. So we can do a lot of things that David at the county can't do, and some of that is what I'm going to talk with you about tonight. So on the slide are what our 4 major functions are. So we provide over 15,000 housing choice vouchers within the city of San Diego. We are an affordable housing developer and financer, and so the last 30 years we've invested over $1 billion into the creation of over 14,000 affordable housing units within the city. We also do workforce and economic development through an achievement academy that is available to vulnerable populations at our downtown offices. And then, of course, we provide resources to address homelessness, which is what I'll be primarily talking to you all about tonight. So, we do have a very close relationship with the city of San Diego. We are not part of the city, but we ultimately answer up to city council. So, thank you very much, council members, for being here tonight. And this slide just gives a little bit of an overview of what the council's policy on homelessness is. And so, we can't do it alone, nor do we do it alone. And so in a partnership with the city, we've been administering their homeless program since 2010. And not only do we work collaboratively with the city and within our own agency, but with external partners as well. So at the core of all of our programming is the belief that the solution to homelessness is housing. And it truly is the foundation on which people are going to be able to rebuild their lives. And with funds dedicated to homelessness that we administer, which in this last fiscal year was approximately $43.8 million, we and our partners created and preserved housing opportunities for homeless men, women, children, and those include permanent supportive housing units and emergency shelter programs. So in November 2014, under the leadership of our president and CEO, Rick Gentry, the Housing Commission made a policy decision to leverage all of our available resources to address homelessness. The result was Housing for San Diego, which is a 3-year action plan designed to create up to 1,500 permanent supportive housing opportunities for homeless individuals and families. And that is a collaboration with the city, the county, the VA, philanthropy, you name it, we're working with them to try to make this happen. It's a 5-point plan, so we're creating new developments, we are awarding vouchers. We've dedicated some of our own units to house homeless individuals. The Commission operates about 2,500 of its own affordable housing units. And in this last year, we added 3 new components. One is the 1,000 Homeless Veterans Initiative, and that is an effort to house up to 1,000 homeless veterans in the next year. Thank you. And then we've also partnered with San Diego State within their Guardian Scholars Program to provide housing to 100 of their Guardian Scholar students. And then also with the Monarch School to house up to 25 of their homeless families with children enrolled in their school. And then in our free time, we administer 8 major types of homeless projects and partnered with 17 nonprofit agencies to operate them. So there are 650 beds of emergency shelter, 10 transitional housing programs that serve about 600 households annually, landlord engagement, rapid rehousing, and then also facilities like the Neil Good Day Center and the Transitional Storage Center that help address the immediate and basic needs of people experiencing homelessness. And what this doesn't point out are all the affordable housing developments and the work that is done in our rental systems division. But so all the divisions within the Housing Commission are actively working to address homelessness. We also are the lead organizer of Project Homeless Connect, and we do this also in partnership with the City of San Diego, Interfaith Shelter Network, Father Joe's Villages, and Founding Health Centers of San Diego. So annual one-day resource fair where we bring everyone to Golden Hall and we try to get them quick and immediate access to basic needs and services, and hopefully then help them build a rapport with service providers to help end their homelessness. Last year we had over 300 volunteers and 70 service providers on site to put the event together, and we served over 1,200 people on that day. 5 seconds, so I'll just say the regional continuum of care, I think most closely mirrors with the purpose of tonight's town hall is, which is a way to bring everyone together to come up with ideas and solutions around this issue. So it's a big board, it's got over 30 people. We were fortunate to have Councilmember Todd Gloria as the chair until a couple months ago, and now our president and CEO, Rick Gentry, is the chair. But it is really where a lot of the coordination on this issue is going to happen, and I will just wrap it up there.
Next, we have President and CEO Joe Terzi of San Diego Tourism Authority.
Okay, I don't want to get names, so I'm going to go through this very quickly. Some might want to know why I'm here with all these other organizations that have much better understanding of what's going on from a homeless issue in San Diego. I will tell you that it's interesting to hear all the work that is going on. It's great work, but yet the problem's worse. So if you think about where we are today, what we've done in the past and what we continue to do, we're still not getting to the core of the problem. I fail to believe that whether it be the 1,000 people that are homeless in downtown San Diego or the 9,000 that are homeless in our community in the county, those people want to be homeless. I don't understand how we as an organization collectively and we as a community can't figure out how to do a better job. And so I'm not here to point the finger at anyone, but I will tell you that the industry that we work in and the work that we do is very dependent on having a destination that really is appealing to people. And one of the key attributes of an appealing destination on any survey we do has a lot to do with how safe and secure people feel in that city or in that destination. And that number, unfortunately, over the years has declined in San Diego dramatically. And so from a standpoint of business, for the industry that I represent, the hospitality industry that employs 183,000 people, more importantly, it contributes $206 million to the city general fund this year, which paves roads, hires police officers, provides essential services to all the communities. We have to address this. If for no other reason, then we're going to lose our edge as being a destination that can continue to support tourism. Selfishly, I think we have the best destination in the world. We are out there every day selling it. The community in the hospitality industry is really committed to doing their job. I'm just scratching my head when I look at what's happening and all the great work that's going on, but yet we have a problem that's getting worse. To me, it's not a problem that you can talk about and work through a program over the next several years. To me, it's an epidemic. And I think we, as a community, have to recognize that it is something that requires a different course. It requires long-term planning. It requires all the great work that Alpha House, Alpha Square, Connection to Housing, all of those organizations are doing. There's no one in this room that doesn't want to work and make this happen. The challenges in downtown San Diego, and Chris will talk to you a little bit about, a great program they have. They've taken over 1,000 people and reunited them with family members to help them get back on the right track. Yet in the last 4 years, the homeless counts in downtown San Diego have doubled. So, I just don't have a lot of encouragement about what's happening unless we collectively, as citizens of San Diego, figure out how we're going to deal with this. It's not an easy problem. It's not encouraging to hear people say, well, you know, we're better than LA or we're better than San Francisco. We're Sandy, we're better than that. We have to figure out a way to deal with this, and I'm encouraging all of you to voice your concerns, to speak up, but do it in a positive way so we can find some solutions. So thank you very much.
It's my turn. So, this is the reason why I put this on. So this diagram is kind of just an idea. You really can't see that, can you? Well, it was my diagram to show you why I was doing this. But homelessness is a complex issue, you know, without one single solution. And the diagram was supposed to show you that it takes a lot of parts to really work this together. Now, I'm not a homeless, what do you call it? Expert, thank you. Scott Shipman. I'm not an expert on this, but this is what I can deduce from the issue. So communication, public safety, jobs, outreach teams, housing, food bank, and funding, right? Those are the things that I've kind of top down, level down, that we need to really, really focus on. But in the immediate effort, the first thing that we want to do was get a homeless coordinator, which we finally have. Thank you, Stacy Spector. So we have that. Now we're able to have one voice, one plan, one resolve, and have a person coordinate the entire effort. But I still want immediate actionable items, foreseeable actionable items. The first one is to have a dedicated hot team per region, per district. What does that mean? A homeless outreach team by service providers, by Alpha Pride for Father Joe's, where they're having their own van, they're able to go out to every single district to understand and get to know the homeless individuals. Now, what does that do? I don't understand the psychology side of it, but I don't understand the business side of it. When we're selling things, when we're selling hotel rooms, we're getting to know our customers. The more we build respect with our homeless individuals, maybe they'll start trusting the system, maybe they'll start trusting. It may not be the first time you reach out to them, it may not be the 50th time, but maybe that 101st time you reach out to them, they will accept your help and we can put them on a better path. The second is a clean and safe program. So the idea is to have a clean and safe program per business district or community district. What does that do? That has public safety officers up and down the area in which it encapsulates for safety for the community, safety for the neighborhood, to really appease, to really put at bay the aggressive transients that we're having. But the flip side of that, the clean side of it, what's important is to hire the homeless individuals that want jobs to clean up the environment around them. We want them to have jobs. We want them to have sustainability. So this is the first thing that we can do to get them that first job into the job market. Third and last thing that I'd like to implement, and as quickly as possible, and I think you guys would agree with me, is a food bank. There's no reason why grocery markets, there's no reason why our restaurants can be just tossing stuff away every single night. They're perfectly good food, they're perfectly good things that can be collected, okay? Now, as a business guy, I really want to make sure that it's business friendly. You know, it makes it easy. It's not going to cost us an arm and a leg to get this done. But as we implement these things, hopefully there is a service that we can fund to collect these excess food and excess groceries to give to the homeless individuals and to give to food banks and to give to housing developments. That's it for me. It's really simple, right? Business development, downtown partnership.
Is this the microphone? No. Sorry, I was late. First of all, I want to thank Alvin. Alvin, thank you for your leadership on this. That's what it takes, I think, to get everyone together, and we greatly appreciate it. I also want to thank Stacy for taking the job, because we need you, and so, Stacy, thank you. Let me just go through quickly. I'm Chris Michelle with the Downtown Partnership. I want Alonzo to stand up. Alonzo Vivas, who is the Executive Director of our Clean and Safe program, and Danny Reeves, who is our Senior Policy Person. These folks work day in and day out on this issue. Lucky and Kelly are here. Hello. Okay, I'm just going to share with you downtown story, but two things I want you to know. Number one, we in downtown are not pushing homeless anywhere, because every once in a while I hear, wow, if downtown has is doing something, then they're coming into our neighborhood. We're not. The numbers are growing. So when your numbers grow in your neighborhood, they're growing exponential in downtown, which is really interesting. And then secondly, collaboration. What we realize is, just like wildfires or any other issue that cities have to deal with, people aren't saying, oh my gosh, I'm in the city of San Diego, now I'm crossing into the county of San Diego, now I'm in the unincorporated area, now I'm in Carlsbad. We need to collaborate on one solution. And so that's what we have found, because if we have many different solutions, which it will take to solve this, but we need to make sure we're collaborating and we're not doing different things that actually work against us in different communities. So I have this big presentation, which I'm going to just jump to the end. Hold on. So here are our numbers first. I just want you to see the numbers. So you can see the red line. Again, it is just data about downtown. It doesn't mean anything. But what you can see are trends. So we count every month. And we count the exact same time. And we've been doing this now for 5 years. And what you can see is we started out with about 600. Gotta get my glasses on. And then we peaked at about, right now, 1,300. Is it, oh, it just says value up there? Okay, great. I'll tell you the numbers. It'll be easier. So we started out at 627. We peaked at 1,386. And we are now at 1,140 individuals living in a portion of downtown that's 275 blocks, which is our Clean and Safe program. So as you can see, we also asked, and again, this is self-reported, where did you come from? So you're going to see, hopefully numbers are in there. Oh, okay, so you're missing part of that pie chart. So the part of the pie chart says 73% are from outside the state of California that are here. Again, I stress it's self-reported. But the reason we wanted to see this information is we've been working on this for over 5 years as a business organization, and all of a sudden we thought, my goodness, something is wrong, because we have housed or reunited with their families over 1,500 individuals, and we started out with 1,200. So we wanted to see what is going on and changing this. And so there is one program, we've got all the reasons why: AB 109, Prop 47, the Spencer Agreement, illegal lodging, the Isaiah Agreement, which we were sued on. So that is the storage of valuables of our street population. And then we found a program that we think works quite well, so I'd like to share that with you. It is the Family Reunification Program sponsored by Sharp Healthcare. And that program allows us to reunite people out of the streets of downtown with their families. And so this is how it goes. We find out that John is living in the streets of downtown. His sister Sue lives in Cleveland, Ohio. We, our Homeless Outreach, used to be Kelly and Lucky, now Latara and Arturo, go out and say, your sister's in Cleveland, have you talked to her in a while? We connect them up by phone first. And then we say, and by the way, the sister usually says, I thought he was dead. And that is usually the response. I had no idea he was still alive. Secondly, then, we asked John, do you want to go home? And we asked Sue, will you take your brother home? Because the family is the strongest bond for some, not all, but for some of us. So why not try and reunite people in their families? And then she, sister, usually says yes, and I want you to know, be good to your sister, because it's usually sisters. And then we asked John, work with our maintenance crews for 1 day at 15 seconds, and we will reunite. Then we tell Sister Sue, here, we believe your brother might be duly diagnosed, there might be an addiction problem, and there might be, I have 5 seconds, and there might be some kind of mental illness. Here are the services you're going to need. So, and then John works with our crews, and John is reunited with his sister Sue. We tell Sue when he's coming home, what time, where, and then we check in after 3 months to make sure they're still there, and we are now doing checkups on a regular basis. That program has been the most beneficial to us in downtown, but it is by no means the solution. It's going to take all of us in this room to try and solve it. And I have been more frustrated than anything that we have not made more progress with helping our street population and getting folks into housing, but we have not been that successful. So I look forward to what comes out of this today, and I want to thank all of you for being willing to participate in this journey. Thank you.
Next up,
Benjamin Nichols, and I am the Executive Director of the Hillcrest Business Association. And I was asked to come and speak about our experiences engaging with the homeless population of Hillcrest. I just want to make a couple of comments to begin with. So we are a pretty small business association. We're one of the oldest in the city, but our mission is not to solve homeless problems or address homelessness really at all. We're trying to improve and promote our business community. So we're not in the homeless, we're not experts on engaging with homeless people, and we really don't have the mandate to do that. It's not really what we do. But we do have a lot of antisocial behaviors in Hillcrest. And they're not all, it's not all by homeless people, but the majority is homeless people. The other thing I want to say is that we are very enthusiastic to be partners on a solution. But we're not the experts. But I can tell you what we have been doing, and we've had some success. So about 2 years ago, we began to see, as a lot of neighborhoods have, a spike in homelessness, homeless individuals in the neighborhood. And a lot of people, I think, end up in Hillcrest because the hospitals are there, the emergency rooms are there, but also Belleville Park is right there. That's a place you can live if you're on the street. So we partnered with Councilman Loria's office last year. We hired the Alpha Project for the Homeless to send experts, teams of experts around Hillcrest and engage with the homeless population and build relationships with the homeless folks that were living in Hillcrest. And we did that for about a year. It cost about $70,000, and we had a team of experts. And they spent a lot of time building relationships, and they spent a lot of time trying to connect with homeless people so that when that moment came where the homeless person was just sick and tired of being homeless.
Hi, I'm Jenny Knox from the Ocean Beach Main Street Association. We've dealt with the, I guess, homeless issue. We call them travelers mostly, because we really don't have homeless families camping out on our streets in Ocean Beach. It's a little too risky for them. So we end up with these travelers who have not a care about what happens in our community. And it's been tough on our merchants. They're frustrated, they don't know what to do. So about 6 years ago, I think it was 6 years ago, we decided we were going to do something about it. We got all the groups together in our community, and we said, okay, what are we going to do? What can we do? And we developed and continue to develop a really good relationship with STPD. We had teams down there. We did all kinds of work on that. But the problem seemed to be getting worse. And so we were going, okay, well, this is good, but still we can't solve the problem that 911, they can't answer the phone fast enough. Our merchants can't hang on the phone forever to talk to 531-2000. So they just weren't reporting. All sorts of things were falling by the wayside, and we were spending 60% of our time in our office instead of working on promotions and making everybody feel good about Ocean Beach. I mean, we're just down in the dumps about this problem. So we decided to hire security. And we started with one company and we changed to another. But the first company, it started to work, but we found that their style, they were a little afraid of the transients that we had. So they would go across the street and walk. Well, that wasn't exactly what we were hoping for. So we moved on. We hired another company. We met with them and told them our expectations. They've been fabulous, and it made a huge difference. Huge difference. Now, in the days that they're not there, because we're a little tiny area, and we're self-funding. So our merchants pay into it, we raise money through our special events. There's not a big pot of money for us. So they work a number of days, more than half the days of the week. I don't want to say exactly. We like the element of surprise. But they have developed relationships with some of these people. They've moved them on. We have a number of very active people on our board who spend some time out there on the street talking to these people, and one in particular who has made a huge difference in a number of people's lives, getting them back together with their relatives. And it takes that kind of action, but it also, we need to do our job as an organization to promote our businesses and increase jobs in the area and get people down there, which we've been actually really successful at. But it's frightening that we were kind of taken over about 4 years ago by these travelers, is all I could think of to call them, who would intimidate us. And I was even afraid, and my husband said, you can't chase them down the street anymore, they're going to clock you. And so I don't do that anymore. But I'm very grateful that we've had the opportunity to try a security firm that works so well with us, and people feel safer, and they go in and visit our merchants, and they feel that someone is looking out for them. And our security group calls the police, and they stay on the line. And then our merchants can get back to doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is running their business. So a lot of our experiences at the St. Ben's, it's not a forever solution. I wish I could give you the magic bullet, but I don't know what it is. But people who care about their neighborhood should get involved, and there has to be dialogue. I'm very pleased that everybody is being very respectful here, because I could tell you we spent about 7 years working on these issues with a not very respectful group of people, and we were accused of all kinds of crazy stuff. But we do care about people, and we really, really want to find a solution even in our small little community. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Next up, Cynthia Jason.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Jason. I'm from the La Jolla Town Council Community Crime Watch Committee. In the past year, we have had a doubling in our homeless population in La Jolla. And just this past weekend, we had a cleaning staff service person assaulted in the stairwell of one of the buildings on Prospect Avenue when she asked the homeless person who had moved into the stairwell as their homeless living area to vacate because it was time for the business to open. So this has become a problem for us in La Jolla, and our town council wanted to know that they felt the crime was up, they felt that our police services were down, and they wanted to know how did we get here and what is in store for us in the future. I have a feeling, because this is a very fancy PowerPoint and it was very boring, that we're going to have the same problem a lot of other people have had here. So crime statistics from the city of San Diego for the last, this is the first 6 months of 2016, and it's compared to 2015, after Proposition 47. We have, the statistics are up in every category, and this is a nationwide problem. This is not just a San Diego problem. Burglaries are up 6% across San Diego. They're up 21% in the township of La Jolla. How did we get here? This has already been talked about a lot tonight, but in 2009, a federal judge mandated that we have a 46,000 prisoner release from our state penitentiary system. This was done through AB 109, AB 1468, which one was a parole elimination and the other one was a sentencing reduction. We also had Proposition 47, which several people have spoken about tonight. Proposition 47 did not deliver on its promise that the state legislature said it would. And this money, this $29 to $39 million that they have received from the savings is going to be distributed throughout 58 counties. So if you divide that in half, San Diego's looking at getting a very small amount of money. The Proposition 47 consequences has shown that the homeless living outdoors has increased by almost 71%, and evidence is starting to appear that this may be from Proposition 47, or at least partly from Proposition 47. But really, what's going on? In La Jolla, people are saying, I'm calling the police, no one's answering, or they don't come, okay? In 2009, we had 2,128 officers on our force. In 2016, 2016, we have 1,861 officers. The problem here is that in 2009, we had 1.3 million people in the city of San Diego. In 2015, we had 95,000 more. And what you can't see in yellow there is that we have 205,000 illegal residents that live in San Diego that are not counted in our city budgeting process. So we have 300,000 more citizens or residents of the city of San Diego, and we have 260 less police officers to help us with the issues that come from an increased population. So what are you seeing here? The San Diego Police Department staffing is incredibly low. The top cities by population in the United States of America, number 1 through 7, they have 31.5 officers per 10,000 residents on average. San Diego ranks number 8 in the United States as a city. And what you can't see in yellow there is that we have 13.7 officers per 10,000. However, if you factor in our illegal immigrant population, which we do not add in that number, we have 11.8. Cities 9 through 15, they have 21.7. So we have half the number of police officers on our force than the cities that are below us in population. Where is the next problem coming from? It is coming from Proposition 57. This is an early release from prison population proposition that is on the ballot, and it's a parole for what they're calling non-violent criminals. They also call it the Public Safety and Rehabilitation Act of 2016. The problem with this proposition, as Councilmember Zaff alluded to with 47, is this is an amendment to our state constitution. When our state constitution is amended, our legislators cannot make changes after it is passed. So if we want this, it's ours. The nonviolent crime is not defined in this proposition. That is critical for people to know, because when something is not defined and it is an amendment to our state constitution, this becomes a rollback to what is defined. And what is defined is violent crime. But there are only 23 violent crimes defined. So you will find things like rape of an unconscious person, lewd acts against a child, gang gun crimes, and human trafficking that fall under Proposition 57. There are 140 similar crimes that make this list that the county prosecutor's office has put on their website for us. So in conclusion, we have a potential unlimited, unintended consequence of a further increase in the homeless population, and it is going to be the aggressive homeless population should Proposition 57 pass. Thank you for your time.
Concerned citizen. Okay, I'm a business owner. I'm a member of Funders Together to End Homelessness. I sit on some various committees that work on data evaluation and project evaluation in the community. And I'm former chair of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless, which is our HMIS, our data provider. So we are going to, and if you want to learn more about homelessness, you can follow my social media sites. Oh, good. Hey, where's my... That's all right. I don't know. That's all right. So what we're going to talk about, so homelessness needs to be tackled regionally. So it's great that we know and we have problems in La Jolla or downtown, but we really need to look at what's going on region-wide. What are the resources to tackle this issue region-wide? What is the data that's needed and why aren't we using it? And do we even have it? So our system is perfectly designed to, and you can fill in a lot of different things. You can look at that and see that it's not working very well. There is a lot of collaboration here though, and there's a lot of great stuff. And you've heard from the Housing Commission, HHSA, Stacy from the city. There's some really good things going on, but there's still not a lot of coordination. This is $100+ million in our community that we're spending on not very good results. So our system is perfectly designed to get the results we're getting, and those results are not very good. What can we do about it? The Homeless Management Information System, it collects our data. It's our data platform in our community. It collects data on 46 homeless service agencies that operate 214 projects countywide. That's why we have to coordinate all of those projects. It's a lot to do, it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of people we're serving. We have over 100,000 unique clients in that data system. We serve over 10,000 unique clients every quarter, and those are just the ones that are captured in our data system, which is the bulk of people experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness in our region. San Diego County is our region. So it's a lot of data. This you can't see very well, but it's the downtown unsheltered count. So it's done every month. I've taken the January number there, and you can see it's risen. It's actually risen quite a bit since January of this year. But okay, hold on. I skipped 2, I'm sorry. This is our overall regional point in time count. This is done in January of every year also. And you can see there's actually a slight decline. This is overall homelessness in San Diego County since 2012. This is the downtown unsheltered count. Homelessness in our region is not going up. Homelessness and unsheltered homelessness specifically in certain areas is going up a troubling amount. And nobody here up on this stage can tell you why that is. Because we're not necessarily collecting and using the data that we need. So that's one very important part of what I want to make sure that everybody takes home tonight is that we have data, we need more data, we need all the entities, including the law enforcement agencies, putting data in on their homeless service, on their homeless interactions with people, so we can fully understand whether these different propositions that have passed are actually causing a problem or not. We don't know, and nobody up here can tell you. We don't have that data. So we need it, though. We need to be able to tell you the story of what is going on. You cannot solve a problem that you don't measure. We need to start measuring it. We need to be able to stand up here and tell you why this is happening downtown, but not region-wide. We need to be able to tell you why we have a big increase in the unsheltered population, but a decrease in the sheltered population when the inventory is about static. So it's very important that we actually get more data and we actually use it and we can actually communicate it to you. And I'm sure Stacy will be on top of that. So we're very glad that she's here, by the way. And this is our veteran homelessness count in the region. Same period of time, down 30-odd%. What is different? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Different populations are different, and so we need to measure all these things, and we need to see what we're doing differently, because we're doing something very different with the veteran population, and it's working. So if we can do it with veterans, we can do it for all the populations that we're dealing with. And I'm not watching the time, so somebody might have to kick me. A good system has to be data-driven. It has to be provider-informed, funder-driven, and stakeholder and volunteer-supported, which is why I'm thrilled to see all of y'all here. Volunteers, stakeholders, people involved in providing services. Wow, that's really going fast. Okay. This is the outcomes of our system. It's very different depending upon what we provide people. This is very important because there's a different cost to each of these interventions, and they provide drastically different results. This is the amount of inventory we have in our regional system. It is over 8,000 beds. Unfortunately, the longest lines, or the largest part of our inventory is actually in some of the lowest performing parts. And that's important because this is part of a family option study. It just came out today, and it shows the cost of those different interventions, and those highest lines are also the lowest performing part of our system, but yet the most costly. So we have to use data. We have to make data-driven decisions. The worst thing we can do is do anti-homeless tactics like sharp rocks under bridges and encroachment tickets that actually could be causing part of the increase in homelessness. The more you criminalize homelessness and use anti-homeless tactics, it makes it more difficult to get people off the street. They become less trusting of the system they become less trusting of the people who are trying to help them. So we want to make sure we're doing the right things. What can you do? There's a list. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for all the great speakers.
All right, we're breezing through this. So it's time for public comment. Okay, so what I have here is time-stamped comment cards, and organizations are going to go first. I'm going to call you out by name. So I'm going to call 5 people at a time. So if you can line up behind the microphone, so that way we can get through these quickly so we can get you guys all home. William, Church of Nazareth stuff, will be William. restate your name and where you're from. That would be fantastic. So just real quick, guys, Councilman Lori Zapp does have to leave because her daughter's waiting for her to pick her up. So give her a big thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan, for hosting this event, and welcome Stacy Spector, looking for big things out of you. My name is Will. I'm here on behalf of the homeless, of which I am among. And I'm also here on behalf of Living Water Church, Nazarene on 13th and J Street. You're all welcome to come find us. Where we are working at with, number one, not dividing the line. There is no us and them. There is a one people. There is an us. Okay? And we, as the unsheltered homeless, which comprises half of that church, which is not resourced, okay, are working in groups during the week to see how we can be part of the solution. When you look here, and I've followed this for a couple of years. I thought I saw you yesterday, Michael. Camera behind you, how are you doing? That's where I am at the pastor down there who's not able to make it here today. But the solution is, okay, seeing us. If you see me next to you, and I'm like this on the bus, you don't think twice. You don't stop me from using the bathroom, okay? Or maybe if I got the backpack on me and I'm not on Mission Trails, okay? You think twice, you're hesitant. You're trying to bridge that gap, okay? Solution is in the housing first model. There's no doubt. This key to an apartment, to an efficiency, not to storage. So, thank you for your time.
Brian Surrey, Pacific Beach Planning Group. Elvin, thank you for this. This was a great idea, and I think it is a collaborative effort. The word is out. San Diego's a place to go for homeless. You can come here, sleep on the beach, and get a nice meal every day. And so I'm going to address just each concerns because I entertain these concerns all the time as planning group chair. I'm not addressing those that are mentally ill. I'm not addressing those that need a helping hand up, you know, who want help. I'm reluctant, we heard tonight, to directly tie criminality to homelessness. So I just wanted to share that too. And I have some friends who are homeless. I call them friends. What I'm talking about is the aggressive transients and vagrants who don't want a hand up and they do not want help. And you can have 140 service organizations and 600 programs and it won't make one bit of difference. The enforcement is down. It's true, and I agree with La Jolla. The enforcement is way down. And our police department, those that can do it, don't know what to do. They feel like they'll be attacked by civil liberties if they try to get somebody off the street. In the meantime, me as a resident saying, why aren't you cleaning this up? So I think the city needs to take action on those that really are criminals, those that really are aggressive and transients, that are disrupting our whole social settings, tourism, tourist industry, our residents, those all in the coastal areas. And so it's a complicated problem, but if you continue to enable the problem with, again, 2 or 3 free meals a day, place to live, place to sleep, it's just not helping. It is just not helping. So I would encourage the city to address really the aggressive transients. Beyond that, I think all of these programs can begin to, help those that really do need help. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Mary Anthony. I'm a real estate broker. Came down from North County. I really enjoyed hearing from everybody in their public positions. But as a real estate broker working throughout the county, I often experience the economic impact of neighborhoods struggling with high concentrations of homelessness, South Park, downtown, Pacific Beach. being the fourth in the nation with nearly, I think it was 8,000 or 9,000 in the county, we share a national epidemic that stands for one of the greatest social challenges of our time. And looking at housing, I think I heard earlier tonight, the solution is in the word homes. I think we need to provide homes to these people. I've recently seen ship containers converted to homes. There's a lot of waste that we could be recycling from flipping homes, retrofitted windows from commercial and residential real estate. I see windows, brand new, dual pane, thrown in dumpsters, door frames, all that. They could be retrofitted into shipping containers that cost a couple $1,000. We just need an area in the county, multiple areas in the county. We could offer owners of this property vacant real estate tax abatement programs to help motivate them to ensure that everyone has a house. And in that, I think these people would have a leg up, be able to re-enter society, having a home. It is a high-cost community outlet. Having a shelter, a place to secure your possessions is a big leg up. As a real estate broker, I see this as it's a big problem, an epidemic of our generation. I think we should address it. And it's not going to be an easy one, but I think those suggestions could be working well with what's going on in City Council. Thanks.
I'm Karen Blanton. I'm the founder and director of a local nonprofit called the Pacific Beach Street Guardians. We exist to connect housed and unhoused neighbors in Pacific Beach through community education and employment opportunities. We do this by sharing about the realities of living on the street and offering information to dispel myths and fears and stereotypes about those who experience homelessness. We also conduct employment and life skills training for unhoused team members to better understand their God-given purposes. Finally, we provide transitional employment opportunities for those team members to earn money and gain confidence and experience for future long-term employment.
Hi, I'm Lori. I'm a member of the PV homeless population. I like to call myself temporarily displaced. As I continue to move forward in my desire to get off the streets, I see the importance of long-term solutions and services for us that include employment, mental health services, substance abuse programs, and of course, community housing. The churches offer hospitality to us through meal services and sometimes clothing, blankets, and hygiene kits, but we will always be considered homeless until we are provided with affordable housing options.
As someone who has been on and off the streets for the last 10 years, I know a little bit about what it takes, what works and what doesn't. There are more people out there who have knowledge and resources to share with you. If you will include us in the conversation. It's easy to look from the outside and think you know what might be the need might be. Have you asked? Have you invited us to share what we have learned out here? I think if you did, you might be surprised. Many of us want to collaborate to make PV the kind of place where we all want to live.
Our neighborhood will be safe and secure when everyone has a stake in the neighborhood. This isn't a soup kitchen mentality where some give and some receive, but it's more of a potluck mentality where everybody brings something to share and everybody receives. So let's consider getting away from caring about me and mine and begin to concern ourselves with our potlucking community. To quote Father Greg Boyle, there is no them and us, there is only us. So let's make sure that all the voices are heard in this process, and when we look back on our successes, we can say we did this together. Thank you.
The women and children that Amicus works with are not drug addicts. They're not released from prison. So you can't blame Prop 47 for their homelessness. They're homeless because they can't afford any of the available housing that's out there. And I am at a loss to get them housed when there's no affordable housing. So Amicus has come up with a meantime solution, because yes, we need affordable housing, but it's going to take a long time for us to get enough to put everyone there. You talk about safety, that citizens don't feel safe and tourists don't feel safe. These women don't feel safe, and they have to sleep on the sidewalk because we have no place for them. So we are proposing tiny home pocket villages for these women to live, a safe place to go to sleep at night, lock a door, go during the day and lock up their belongings, come back at night, feed their kids, help them with their homework, and go to sleep and be safe and get their lives together. Yes, we want them in permanent housing, but until then, we should be giving these women and their children and these old ladies a place to sleep at night. Thank you.
We can get PV Town Council Bill Marsh, Dan Weber, Eric Colby, thank you, and then Vicky McGuire, Meg, Midway area, and Daniel Schmihofsky, sorry. Thank you,
Linda Bennington, I work for San Diego Canyonlands. I live in the City Heights area. I've been there 35 years. I've been cleaning up canyons for 35 years. And like the last 10 years, we've had Canyonlands to help us. San Diego's a city with beautiful canyons all over. We've done special projects in City Heights. We have 4 miles of trails through 4 major canyons and 2 miles of Choice Creek, which gives you 8 miles of trails. We've worked really hard to beautify them, and they are being destroyed by the homeless impacts. You have not only massive camps gathering, and there's the PCs, there's the campfires, which is scary with all our fire problems in San Diego. There's the needles that we pick up. We work very closely with the HOT team in City Heights, and that's the police, the San Diego Police Department Homeless Outreach Team. They will tell you that our homeless that they're dealing with, they only find like 6% of the homeless that they talk to who even want to go to housing. And we find the same people going from place to place. You have to give them a 72-hour notice, and that's getting longer to take because our environmental services and our groups takes longer to provide a cleanup because we're so, we got cleanups backed up. So they get to 72 hours, they leave, we fill up dumpsters full of lots and lots and lots of stuff, and they go over there. And then you start over, another 72-hour notice. And they don't want to go to housing. So that's what we're facing in our canyons. Thank you.
Bill Marsh, PV Town Council. I just wondered how many of you here have been involved in a neighborhood cleanup in the last 5 years? Can you raise your hand? How many of you have been involved in a beach cleanup? How many of you have been involved in something like Rose Creek? Or even bigger, doing the San Diego River cleanup? If you've ever been along the watershed, inland from Dog Beach, or where Pacific Highway crosses the river, and have done a cleanup there, you would be amazed. I mean, at the amount of trash that the encampments have left there, the number of people that are actually living there. And I want to follow on with what Brian was talking about. These are, many of these people are people that do not want to leave the lifestyle that they're living in. And unfortunately, we live, in a target location where everybody wants to come here. I think we have to really do something, and Pacific Beach has one of the biggest problems. We hear a lot about downtown, but in PV we have a big problem. People that don't want to leave, and we have the tourists, the tourist homeless that are coming to visit. And we have to raise the bar. We have to make San Diego a less popular place for their transient and homeless to come. We have to raise that bar. Thank you.
sure you pay attention ahead. We have our time cards, and we will be happy to cut out when we get past the 2 minutes. Thank you.
And Jason Weiss, if we do have time for this, so just prepare to do it on this. That would be great. Whatever, yeah, great. Mr. Barber?
Thank you, Alan. I really appreciate that you put this together. I want you to understand, I think all of us here have compassion for the homeless. However, I do not believe that the aggressive transients have much compassion for the rest of us. That's where my focus is going to be. Assume for the moment that while you're at home, there are a group of people sleeping in tents in your backyard, a person on your patio, sleeping on your patio, a person sitting on a sidewalk with all their belongings while your children try to walk past them, people plugging various electronic devices into your electrical outlets in your garage, begging for money from your guests as they come to your house, selling drugs in your driveway, taking drugs next to your house, and leaving their syringes lying around, stealing your welcome mat, your outdoor plants, and breaking open locks you have in place to protect your property, leaving trash on the ground wherever they are, and defecating and urinating in your doorways and your trash enclosures. Your family begs you to do something about it because they're scared and disgusted. So you go out and ask these people to leave, confronted by uncivilized, and you get confronted by uncivilized and rude responses, aggressive behavior, and some try to attack you. So you call the police, they show up days later, and when they show up, they tell you there's nothing they can do. They also tell you to go to court and get a court order giving the homeless a formal notice so that they must leave. Next, you talk to the city council member's office, and they advise you to hire a social worker to come out and work with these individuals to get them off your property. How ineffective would you feel in front of your family? How disappointed would you be with your city's response? Now substitute me in as that person and try to get these things to stop on behalf of my tenants, my employees, my tenants' employees, and the guests that stay at my hotel. The point is that my properties are in Mission Valley and Midway District. You guys in PB and the rest don't have the issues. What I have to say is I think what I've heard here tonight is nothing's getting done. We have to realize this is the new normal, and that's something that I'm sad for this city. And I hope you can fix it soon.
I'm Eric Goldie. I'm the executive director of San Diego Canyonlands, a nonprofit. We're working to clean up our canyons, primarily focused in City Heights right now. We have Linda Pennington leading the way, and we've got some team members with her tonight that are helping us. We are all over the city, and we're definitely stakeholders in this effort. We could be a part of a team that provides information for resources to the Hunt very often when we're in our canyons. We need a smooth connection to the resources. I think that's key. How can we connect them in the canyon to the resources that are available to them? Whatever we can do to help that happen. Subsequently, we've already run across people who are not interested in the and we can help report the location. The canyons need to be safe and clean. When it rains, we funnel our water through the canyons, down the streams, and it flushes everything. All the human waste, right down to the creeks and the coast. And then we have our closed beaches for 72 hours. That can't help the tourism industry, and people can get really ill. So we need to have help to do that. We're already cleaning the canyons, but we're going to need more resources. San Diego Canyon is already part of your cleanup team, and I want to thank you and this panel and everyone here today for coming down and rolling up your sleeves to find solutions and be part of those solutions here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nikki McGuire, and I actually came down from North County, where I live and work. I've been an emergency room nurse for 16 years at the Palmer Hospital, and I would like to just speak, I guess, to the psychiatric side of the homeless. On any given day, we might have, I don't know, 6 to 12, sometimes even 14 of our beds in the ER taken up by psychiatric patients, a lot of them that are homeless. So the issue that I find for them because, and I think I can probably speak for all emergency room staff, I've had the chance to sit and actually talk to them and find out what's going on with their lives and what got them there and that kind of thing. And I feel that a lot of them do want help. One of the problems that I see is that we discharge them home or homeless. And they don't have access to getting their medications. Clearly they don't have money. They might have some funding or whatever, we can give them resources, that kind of thing.
For still being here tonight, long night for you and all the members of the board up there. Oscar Wilde once said, we are all lying in the gutter. Some of us are looking at the stars. 40 years ago, we were all looking up there at the stars. We didn't have this kind of need. So what happened? To find a solution, we need to conceptualize. We need to find a solution. And to begin with the solution, we look at what happened 40 years ago and what I call a cultural decline. And I'm saying a lot from a Democrat. I tell you, dare should I talk like this as a Democrat, but I tell you what, I'm not talking about immigration. No way. I'm talking about a judicial system that has run amok. I'm talking about mental health care in the 80s that has gone downhill. I'm talking about individual responsibility, family life that has gone downhill. And we need to reverse that as a culture. I have a home in France, in Normandy. I go there 2-3 times a year. And I'm going to come back in a month or two after interviewing the mayors of France. I will interview them, I'll come back here, and I will report to you how the French deal with this. They're virtually, and they don't give the homeless a bottle of wine and say, go ahead, have a good time. That's not what they do. They don't have very many homeless. And the people that are homeless in France, they live in a German pillbox, on the English Channel, on the Atlantic Wall. And there are a few of them, not very many. Now, I will bring back what they tell me. I will bring it back here, and I am a candidate for District 2. And I tell you what, I have a name that nobody can pronounce. And a lot of times they hold it against me. They stumble over it, they fall all over it, they look at me, they don't hold me credible. But I tell you what, I think I'm credible. Don't you? I mean, I have the qualification. Planning committee, town council, I'm a real estate, school teacher in Pacific Beach, lifeguard in Mission Beach, who knows, more and more. I can pile it on, you get the hint. So vote for Danny, District 2, and I will bring it home. I will bring it home to you, and I will work for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jason Weiss, let me get on stage real quick, please. My apologies.
Thanks, Alvin. Hi, Jason Weiss from Assembly Speaker Emeritus Tony Atkins' office. First, I want to thank you, Alvin, for hosting this meeting and to the town and country. Obviously, solving this issue is going to take all of us. The state has had some action last year. We had our $2 billion housing program using mental health services to go and put into housing for homeless in the state. 25% of our homeless people on the street are veterans. We have allocated $600 million to house those individuals into apartments. So we're taking action. We're trying to move forward. A lot more obviously is left to be done. There's been a lot of talk about Proposition 47 tonight, and I just want to remind everyone that Prop 47 was put on the ballot first by circulators when you walk out of the grocery store and you're signing those petitions. This was signed by all of the voters, and then the voters of California decided to go and approve it. So the only way that we will repeal it is by another vote of the people. Polling numbers indicate that the community still feels that punishments are too harsh. We're spending too much on prison populations. So that may be the future of Prop 57. So pay attention to what's on the ballot, pay attention to what you're signing. And with that, thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Next up, if you're here, please come up to the stage. Kathy Jolly, Meg, Scott Shipman, Janelle, Rachel, Jamie, Richard, McNamee, Andy, and Daniela Harris. Thank you.
Thanks, Eldon. My name is Kathy Jolly. I'm the president of the Pacific Beach Town Council. But this evening, I'm speaking on behalf of C.L. Jones, a homeless woman who gave me her statement and would like me to summarize as best I can. Ms. Jones is concerned that there are not enough shelters for the homeless and that Section 8 takes far too long to receive a voucher. Ms. Jones has been assaulted numerous times in shelters and feels that she's frustrated by the fact that people who've broken laws, who've molested children, who are using alcohol or drugs, often receive help with housing, and that people with disabilities or elderly do not receive the same assistance. She's concerned about homeless who have mental problems and who can be destructive and even abusive. Some qualify through different agencies that help them with housing, but it's not fair to others who are abused by these clients and not given protection when they're in a shelter. She's also very frustrated by the fact she's in a motorized wheelchair. Very often her attempts to receive housing are held back because her wheelchair is broken or it's being charged, and it makes it very difficult to go on visits and receive housing. I'd like to finish with one of her closing paragraphs. What she's asking for is a chance for quality of life and a chance to get on her feet and prosper as well as she can. It's harder to get housing, and it doesn't help to be in a wheelchair and be a woman on the street. Thank you.
Hello, Scott Shipman. I've been part of many cleanups, and particularly in Rose Canyon, right by the high school. We probably every year, maybe twice a year, we fill a 40-yard dump with debris from the homeless, and it's scary, very scary kind of debris. I think we have to stipulate that living on the street in doorways, alleys, under bridges, and canyons is unacceptable. It's not that it has to be unacceptable because we can't allow them to do it. We have to give them an alternative to that, because we can't say, well, it's okay as long as we have a few here or there, but when they get to be too many, then it's a big problem. We have to get it completely cleaned up, because homelessness begets homelessness. If you see a homeless encampment, you say, well, it's okay. And so we, more and more show up. I want to tell you a story about Mike, a friend of mine at church. He had a small stipend of about $700 or $800 a month, and he was not getting along with his roommate, so he decided to move out. And we tried to help him get a job. He couldn't hold him down a job, or chose not to. Didn't like menial work. So he went and worked in the canyon. He spoke to the wrong person about his stipend, and the day after he got the check, he was stabbed and died in the canyon. And we went and visited him and tried to help him and tried to get him out of the canyon, but he did not want a roommate. We have to make it unacceptable for their own good, for their own safety, for our safety. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Daniela Arias. I'm with Change.org. It's an organization for helping the building on East Street and Ford get just new jobs and just have the homeless population the eroding sidewalks be fixed. I'm just here with a petition to get it going, and if you're a business owner and sell postcards, your feelings about the environment, and if you guys can please help me with that to change. It's in the process, and thank you. Thank you for my day.
Hello, I'm speaking as a mother, a wife, a business owner, and a professional worker who lives in PV. Living in PV, we experience the homeless and transient infiltration extensively. Being a resident for over 20 years, I've never seen an element of crime associated with homelessness as bad as it is now. I feel there are two parts to this problem: accountability and zero respect for the law and social expectations. Criminals are not being held accountable for their actions due to the changes in laws, for example, Prop 47 and potentially 57 that we've been discussing. I can no longer take my son to the local playground, library, or play catch at the park. There are always transients using and selling drugs, needles in the streets, grass, and playgrounds. I brought my son to CVS to buy his first toy with his own money. A transient nearly knocked him over while stealing alcohol. We should not have to explain the differences of empathy for homelessness and to be fearful of drug-abusing transients and no longer feeling safer in our own parks and playgrounds. This is not acceptable a way to teach your children at such a young age. We personally have had 6 bikes stolen and locked up on private property. 6 in the last couple of years. That's ridiculous. We need to do something about this.
Okay, thank you very much. No, sorry.
Hi, I am a Pacific Beach resident as well. I'm a wife and a mother. And I'm just going to share with you some of my experiences that we're going through there. I'm an active member in helping our community, and I'm here today asking for help for Pacific Beach. We have a huge homeless problem, one that most PB business owners and residents will acknowledge when the subject is brought up. We have a large number of, and I'm talking about the aggressive homeless, a large number of aggressive homeless people who engage in criminal activities, including public drug use, defecation on our streets and sidewalks, theft, assaults, and aggressive behavior towards business owners, residents, and tourists. I know because I'm witnessing it daily. It is becoming more and more difficult to explain to my children the actions and activities they are witnessing with the homeless community. Some of the examples I'm seeing are drug dealing. Often I see a homeless man smoking off tinfoil across the street from my house. I see the stash bin stolen bikes and bike parts in the bushes across the street. I'm seeing the used crack pipes, the used needles. I see the homeless woman pulling down her pants several times and urinating on our sidewalks. She's even done this in front of children. I see a mentally ill homeless woman knock on my front door and then she enters my backyard. I'm seeing a naked man running around screaming, throwing himself on the asphalt, and which we had to call 911. And I have homeless individuals that watch my house daily, and I have found a book that belongs to a known homeless woman, and it described houses that she was casing on my block. She was describing where bikes were located, and there was a trailer and a driveway at one of the houses. So it's a little scary. If changes are not made after this town hall, unless there's a situation getting worse, please do something. We need
My name is Richard McNamee. I have a bachelor's degree from University of Washington in sociology and 86 years of living experience. And my solution is quite simple. The compassionate approach, I agree with. The Alpha Project and Father Joe's and the Housing Commission are doing the right thing and going in the right direction. However, that's what I call a compassionate approach. My approach is the tough approach. And it goes like this. You enforce the sunset to sunrise law, ordinance in the city of San Diego. And if anybody is sleeping or camping on public property, the police arrest them. And then the arrestee has a choice. He can go to jail. Thank you. He can go to a voucher hotel, or he can go to my concentration camp in Acumbla, California, which is 75 miles east of here, with a fence and armed guards. And the way to get there is on the San Diego Imperial Valley Railroad in a boxcar with armed guards. And you provide the 3 basics: food, shelter, and toilet facilities. And that's it. That's my approach. And that will work because there will be no homeless on our streets. Just as an add-in.
No, it's Indies, I'm sorry, guys.
You shall know the truth.
I'm also a resident of Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Hold on. I have to get my computer working. Okay. I am also a resident of PB, and every day in PB we see individuals who are struggling with mental health, drug and alcohol issues, or combination. And it's sad to see. Nobody wants to see that. Even those who think we should ship them off to a concentration camp don't, I think, want to see that on our streets.
And I feel that we need to help individuals that want the help, but we also need to look at the fact that these ladies can't take their kids to the library. And you can't go into the business districts. So we need both sides of this. We need compassion, but we also need enforcement. And what we really need is not for Hillcrest to do something, and La Jolla to do something, and PB to do something, but to have a countywide plan where we're all doing the same thing. Because if La Jolla